person that is also, listening to this podcast, and that can help them also to grow. So let's get right into sex in marriage. So sex in marriage is quite broad. So I'm gonna touch the needs of a man in sex and the needs of a woman in sex. But let me start with the man. And remember, this is my personal experience. I just recently shared on that video of my top tips of successful marriage, where I spoke about what has helped me to be where I am today in my marriage. So we are just continuing from there. So let's not waste time. Let's get right into the topic, sex in marriage, but we're covering the needs of a man in the sexual relationship that you are having. So as you know, men, the number one need of men is actually sex. Men, they can't go without sex. Sex is number one priority of a man in a relationship. The men, they need it, as much as we talk about, what are the needs of a woman, for a man, number one is the sex. The sex has to be there. If there's no sex, that relationship is just dead. Because mind you, that man is coming in also with his needs. His number one needs is just to be satisfied sexually. Satisfied in the sense that there must be frequency in the sex. So frequency such that, at least as often as possible, maybe three, 4, 5 times in a week, that will be ideal for a man, because they love it and it's their number one need. So as women or wives, please, I know it's not easy being a working mother, being, a wife, but please let us put our husbands' need also number one, because their need is the sex. And if we close our legs and we say we're not gonna give the sex, what happens? They go out and look for sex outside. They chase for sex outside the marriage. Imagine if you're having sex once a month or once in 3 months. What does it make that man? So that man will become unfulfilled, unsatisfied. So what will they start doing? They will start searching for sex somewhere else. So frequency is very, very important. Do it as much as possible, as frequent as possible. And just remember that the man needs the sex. When you are also on the topic of the sex, the men, not only do they need the sex, not only are they all about, the frequency, they also need this thing whereby the variety is very important. They don't want, the man is not just supposed to be there so that, you just give the missionary position. So be able to excite or spice up your sex life, so that instead of just being missionary, try out certain positions, try out different, positions, different settings in different rooms. So be able to explore. I always say, when kids are not around, that's a perfect time where you can explore in every area that is open in your house, from your kitchen to your, sitting area to your bathrooms. Be able to explore. After all, he is your husband. Who are you going to explore with? So you need to explore with him. So don't be just, stuck to the bedroom and, it must always happen in the bedroom. Be also willing to say, let's go and explore somewhere else. Let's go and explore, outside the bedroom setting. Most of my children, I always say, I thought I would get pregnant in my own home setting, but most of my children, they were actually conceived while we went out, enjoying ourselves, having fun in Cape Town, in Namibia. That's where the children came from. So that already tells you the adventure also ignites that sexual life. And I always give this advice. As a medical doctor, I always speak about, if you're missing that, that fun in your relationship, start to spice up your relationship by even, going outside, to, like, your resorts once in a month, especially if you're in a tight budget. There are, affordable lodges that you can book yourself in for a weekend getaway, so that you can have mother daddy time, so that you can bond and be able to still connect and not lose that connection that is between you and your man. So it's very, very important. Remember, this advice I'm giving is for married couples. I'm not giving, for people who are not yet thinking of, being in a marriage relationship. So strictly this one, I'm just talking, if you are looking into getting married, please know that this is what will happen. I always say, before I got married, I didn't also understand this, but I say, once I got married, I always motivate my students, and I say, you think you want sex now and it's too much. Once you get married, it's even way, way too much than what you expect. So you're gonna have it almost each and every other day, and you got to be ready for it. That's why I say, wait until you are married, because by the time you are married, it can be also overwhelming, especially if you're not ready mentally, physically, prepared for the sex. That can catch you off guard, and unfortunately, that's number one also problem, that if you don't address it, it can lead to your divorces and things like that. So you need to get a hold of it so that it doesn't get out of hand. So let's go now in sex with your woman. What are the woman needs? I mean, this is exciting because I'm a woman. I'm talking from my experience as a woman. So the men, I just briefly talked from what I've experienced. So as a woman, what are my needs? So I always say, and this I learned because when I was in my 4th year, I remember we were doing this urology rotation, and for certain reasons, we had a professor, and they said, we're gonna talk about sex, and I'm like, uh-oh. And we had to have that sex talk. And he said the important part of the sex was there are times whereby we have fertility couples that come in. And he said, and that is something that stuck with me. The needs of a woman are so different from the needs of a man. A woman, first of all, you need to light the candles. And I saw it with myself. I mean, you need to light the candles. Lighting the candles means that you wake up in the morning. Good morning, honey. Did you sleep well? You greet your wife. Show her you love him. Breakfast in bed and spoil her. Then when she goes to the kitchen, continue to spoil her, compliment her. During the day, take her out for lunch or bring her back home. You've cooked already lunch, you've prepared something. Let's eat, my wife. I want you to relax. And then after work, she comes back home. You've prepared a hot bath. And then not only a hot bath, flowers ready, chocolates ready, candles are on. And the candles, they are just lightning just by doing that. But let that man do one thing. All the candles are just being blown away very fast. So women or ladies are very affectionate beings. So whatever that the man is doing to us is actually preparing us for us to have that sexual encounter with a man. So whenever I also give sexual advice to my patients, I always talk about lighting the candles. As a man, you need to study your woman. Know what works for your woman. And you might say, but I don't know what works for my woman. And I say, but how did you get her? How did you manage to propose? How did the relationship start if you don't know your woman? So I always say, study your woman, study what works for her, what she likes, what she doesn't like, and then use that as your advantage so that you can be like, okay, I know she likes 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna make sure today is a date night. Today I want sex. Because I want sex, I'm gonna make sure that I do 1, 2, 3 so that my wife At the end of the day, she will be able to open up and give me the sexual pleasure. So number one, women want to be just, be loved, be affectionate. They want the candles to be lighted. Once the candles are lighted to this, certain level, you are guaranteed that night she won't sleep. She'll be just burning inside, wanting you to be inside. So that's why we say be considerate. Whatever you do during that day is going to determine whether she will be able to sleep with you, like sexually, sexually indulge in the sex or not. So be able to plan your day. When you know today I want it, make sure you do those things. Drop out love messages, drop her, WhatsApp messages, compliment her. You look beautiful, honey, you are so sexy, honey, tell her all these things that make her the woman that you want, the woman that she is, and it will open doors that when you are ready, she will also be ready to receive you. And then, woman, number two, as a woman, please, as much as we have the needs, I always say, women also, when we are at home, we need to learn to dress up, women. So dress up, put your lipstick on, do your nails, take off your doek or your head wrapping. Look nice for your man. Look sexy for your man. As much as it's tough, being a mother, you cooking, you cleaning, please make time also to prepare yourself so you look nice for your man, so you look nice and smell nice for him, because otherwise, they are already seeing a lot of things outside the marriage. They are being tempted in so many ways, and then he comes home and it's like, you come home, you reach, there's no excitement, there's no variety, there's no wife is, changing the styles and dressing up. There's nothing like that. So they lose the excitement, and what happens? They go out. So women, let's dress up, smell nice, prepare ourselves, put our lipstick on, do our hair, and dress up nicely for your night. When you go to bed in the night, not to put on this baggy, baggy sleeping wear. Put on something sexy, something tight, so that when you are sleeping, sometimes I even say take off your bikini and make it easy for him to just access and be able to reach, you easily. Not to put layers after layers after layers, and you're like, what's going on here? So please be able to do that, because that will help your marriage. I mean, that man is just crying out for sex on a daily basis, and the actions that we do are actually what make it or break our relationships, because you're going to bed wearing 5-6 layers. It's just screaming, don't touch me. But once you go to bed and you're wearing something, with no panty on, he can feel that, oh, today I'm wanted, today she's ready for me. And once, you do that, be able to accept him. Don't push him away. As much as you might not feel like having sex, don't be pushing him, because once you push him, he's gonna land in someone else's hands. So be able to entertain him, be able to check variety, be able to explore with him. I always say, also when I started my relationship with my husband, when I got married and things like that, I didn't know much about, the sex, because obviously, where will you find this information? And being a Christian, the information that is out there also is limited. Our parents, our spiritual parents, we don't really talk about, as a wife, what is there that you must do, all these things. I didn't really know more. So I had to start by learning what works for me, which points in my body, when he touches there, it makes me calm. Because really, as women also, as much as we need to satisfy the man, the satisfaction is also supposed to be for you. As much as he needs to come, you also need to come. And I always tell my husband, sex is not only for one side. It's not only for him. It's also for me. So once we are in that sexual relationship, I must study my body. I must say, okay, fine, if you touch me here, I will be able to feel what I need to feel. If you touch me the other side, I won't be able to feel what I need to feel. And you direct him. Take his hand. If you need to grab his hand, show him where he needs to touch you, the right places, so that you can be able also to experience with him. You can also be able to climax and come with him. But you need to know your body. You need to study your body. If you don't do that, how will you be able to enjoy a good sexual life? You won't be. And sex is supposed to be enjoyed. Sex is supposed to be giving you pleasure also as a woman. And because you don't know your body, it makes it very hard that at the end of the day, it becomes a situation you always want to run from, because you are never ready, you are never prepared, you never enjoy it. So hence it becomes a burden for you instead of it being a blessing into your marriage. So ladies, study your body. Know what makes you come. Know what excites you so that you can be sexually ignited. Know what works in your body that can make, you know, the points that he needs to touch, and you direct him. Don't be so shy to say, you know what, my man, my husband, touch me here. Don't be afraid to also say, to initiate the sex. Don't be afraid. Touch him. Tell him, my dear, touch me there. My dear, you know, go this side, go this side. And try also different positions, because that will help your marriage in so many ways. So explore. Go different, dress up, smell nice, look sexy in your own home. Be able, you know, to give him the best experiences that he will never, you know, ever forget. That, you know, when he comes home, it's like, yo, you know, my wife, my wife, my wife. And once you do that, you don't have to worry that anybody can come and replace you and take over your position, because you've already cemented the foundation. You've already cemented, when he comes, he knows, I'm gonna get it. No matter what, my wife, she prepared me food. I ate already. But in the bedroom, she will also prepare something for me. There's another meal that is waiting for me. Because as much as it's a stomach, down there also, they need to be satisfied. So please, women, work on that and work on that relationship so that you may be able to also be fulfilled. You can also enjoy the sex in your marriage. Okay? And then, not ending off, I just also want to touch the topic of, you know, your after sex. After sex, so especially as women, I love my white sheets, my clean sheets. After sex, once you've had sex as a woman, you know, hygiene down there, it's very important. Take a vaslap. With that vaslap or face cloth, be able to go down there and clean yourself. Be able to also clean him, because those things, the fluids that come out after the sex, it needs to be clean. The smell is still lingering later on, even after you've had the sexual episode. So it's very important. Look on the bed, look on the sheets. Is there staining on your beddings? And if there's staining, be able to use the same cloth that you just wet it, and then you can come and clean after you are done with the sex. For the men, especially after you're done with the sex, yes, the foreplay was there, you were able to enjoy the sex. After the sex, don't just go, you know, you're snoring. No, compliment her. Tell her how beautiful she was. Tell her how good she was, how of a good experience it was. Tell her how much you love her, how much you appreciate her, so that she doesn't feel like she's just a dumping zone where you just come in and out, and then, you know, you're not even concerned about her feelings and all those things. Be able also to appreciate your woman. Women and men, when you are done, clean up. You know, if you have to take a bath, please do take a bath after sex. It's very important. Very important. So I hope you are encouraged. I hope you are motivated to work on your sex life. It's possible to have the best sex. It's possible to enjoy sex in marriage. It's possible to enjoy life in marriage, but it starts with you. What are you going to do about it now that you know what you need to do to have the best sex life, to have the best, relationship that you can have? So don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel. If you haven't gone through my previous message of my top tips on marriage, I will share a link on this video. You can go there and you can be able to click there so that you can also learn on my top tips that have kept me to be where I am in a relationship that is more than 12 years. So we're going to 15 years being in a relationship with my husband. So I thank you for having this opportunity with me. I thank you for the feedback. Please don't forget also to share, comment, and also please give us your input. What are your top tips on sex in a marriage? What works for you? What doesn't work for you? Please be able to share so that other people can also learn and they can also implement it in their relationship. Remember, your success is also other people's success. Our success is also your success. By empowering each other, by working together, we can make this marriage thing work, and we can help to reduce the chances, or we can help to reduce the divorce rates by helping to build this community where we are able to come together and talk about our needs. Thank you so much, Dr. Nambi, with your tips on sex in marriage, what works for men and what works for women, and how we can make this sex thing work in our marriage, in our relationship. Thank you so much. Until next time. Goodbye. I love you.